now for something completely different. Two good Jewish boys from Montreal, I am such myself, try to square their very traditional upbringing with their Anglo-French milieu and the vagaries of the modern world. In Yiddish. That's right, they speak Yiddish. And for those of you who don't know, Yiddish is not the same as Hebrew. It's a peculiar language, now almost extinct, a strange mashup of Low German of the 16th century with admixtures of Slavic words, Hebrew words, local words from various countries, all of it written in Hebrew letters. There is a similar adaptation of language on the Sephardi side. Those of you who know Jewish people probably know Ashkenazi Jews, people from Europe, from the West. There are Sephardi Jews, people from the Levant, from the Orient, and they have a language called Ladino, which is based in Spanish. So, in any case, this language perished pretty much with the Holocaust and is now something that is being resuscitated here and there by people like our next two guests, Eli Batalyon and Jamie Elman. Where is YidLife Crisis?
Tan blazer, blue glasses, chaya, laser. Sorry I'm late.
I don't have a lot of time. I have to be back at the hospital in an hour.
Yes, my mother told me that your mother told her that you're a neurosurgeon. Very impressive.
Your mother didn't mention what you do.
Freelance?
Okay, so, as our mothers may have discussed, I'm interested in leading a traditional Jewish life. I'm seeking candidates. I know exactly what I want. I have all the questions to ask right off the bat. So blind dates is just a more efficient way of, seeing if this is even possible. So, you understand.
Totally get it. Fire away.
Well, the first question is a new one. What's he doing here?
Oh, hey, yeah, Jetzt, für was bin ich schon dein Kind, Heter?
Machen und stell, als du bist der Koine. Ob es geht schlecht, schlepp mich raus. Ob es geht gut, schlepp sich raus.
Was krieg ich von dem?
Ich will machen für dir die Steuern von den letzten 3 Jahren zurück.
Ask him. I just ran into my buddy Laser here out front, and I've never seen a kosher California roll, so.
Are you Jewish?
Depends on your definition.
Of course he's Jewish. We went to Hebrew school together for 17 years.
It's not a black and white question.
What's your name?
Jaime.
Single?
Depends on your definition.
Okay, let's get started. How do you feel about children? Yes, no, how many?
Excellent question. I'd like at least 2 children, possibly 3, God willing, at least a boy and a girl, so as the Talmud says, to replace ourselves on earth and continue the traditions of our fathers and matrilineal descent.
Good. And you?
I just came for the sushi.
You don't want children?
No, I might want. I don't know. I think the question in and of itself is ridiculous.
Excuse me?
Well, I mean, you're looking for a potential spouse here. Is the relationship between the two of you not going to play into any of this?
I'm going to get there.
Well, you're the one that said you had no time.
He has mild hypoglycemia, actually. We have some sushi?
No, I appreciate the honesty. How do you feel about eating kosher? In, out of the house?
Well, you see, the Bible was written by a cabal of sages, let's call them, who used a story and narrative based in Bronze Age polytheism, mythology.
I'm so sorry, my mother is calling. I better get this. Hallo, Ma. Ja, du hältst mir nicht. Ja. Sie sagst, was du kannst nicht leiden. Und sie sagt, was ich will. Also ich bitte dir, geh weg, Mami.
So sorry. My mother, too, I got it.
Yeah.
Yo, Mami, entschuldig mir, aber ich will bleiben. Ihre Steitsigkeit ist erotisch.
Sie ist nicht für dir, sie ist für mich.
Ja,
Verschwind, Mami.
Verstehe.
Ich hab da von mir zwei Schmenderikes, was meinen, als ich red nicht kein Jiddisch und Pater in unserer Zeit.
I'll call you back.
Romantische Nacht.
A lange Shabbos-Mahlzeit und danach a doppelte Mitzvah.
Netflix und chillend.
Drei Welten, was beschreiben euch am besten.
Hedonist, Atheist, Feminist.
Yid, Boche, Itzt.
Was liebst der Film?
Sterne Mechomes.
Spaceballs.
Bas Mitzvah oder Süße Sechsten?
Verwusst sich absuchen ihre jüdische Jerusche oder von einem Amerikaner Minik.
Ich wurde investiert das zerpatterte Geld für ihre Erziehung.
Mishpoche Geschichte von Tay-Sachs.
Nein.
Schlechten Morgensyndrom?
Ja.
Nobelpremies?
Ja,
Meningen wegen Heimdelzion. Vaccinierung? Gebende Brust? Kriminelle Vergangenheit. Rezept Narkotik bei Delfinisch. Infektie krank. A Reise kein Mizrach-Afrika in den letzten 6 Monaten. A frische Fruchten.
Nein.
Was teugen etwas nicht, frische Fruchten?
Ja, Kompott.
Es sind schon einmal gewesen in Eretz Yisrael.
Ja.
Sie Emetzer hat verpackte Valises für euch?
Nein.
Ist der Mensch gewesen dein Mami?
Ja.
Okay, gentlemen, I think I've got everything I need. I'll be in touch, and I've already taken care of the check.
Wait, that's it? We didn't get to ask you any questions.
Oh, you'll get the opportunity to do that at our first real date, where you'll be on time and you'll choose the restaurant. And I may choose to show you that I'm warm, affectionate, sensitive, charitable, pretty witty, and very, very sexy, but really just depends on how it goes.
Which one of us gets the date?
Oh, I'll decide at our next pre-screening, which will be here tomorrow. I presume you're freelance as well? See you both at 1. Zeit gesund.
Kosher Sushi. Verrückte Wurst.
Kein Steigen für dich.
Ja.
Rappelle-toi des beaux jours, man.
Mein Stein kann es werden.
On peut pas retourner, man. What?
Mein Heim, alle dort, wo ich war, meine Kinder.
Hi.
Shalom Aleichem. Thank you. Wir sind Chaimian Leser von der Webserie YidLife Crisis.
I'm Jamie, this is Ellie. Hello, everyone. We're the creators of the world's first ever R-rated Yiddish web series, YidLife Crisis. This is quite an honor for us, quite a thrill, actually.
Yes.
We want to talk to you a little bit about that crisis that we've been having today.
Lots of interesting speakers coming before us.
Yeah, we're not quite sure how to follow what we just saw there. I mean, some really amazing stories of faith, of religion, of spirituality and belief from truly some inspirational speakers. We are not that.
No.
Yeah, we don't know what we're doing here, to be honest. But we thought, anyways, that maybe we could, like an after-dinner mint, or in Jewish speak, a lactate pill, we could help with the digestion process.
That's right. The proposed purpose of this talk is to discuss what exactly is a YidLife crisis, a term that we find extraordinarily important because we coined it.
Yeah.
The YidLife crisis is like a midlife crisis with some Yiddish smatterings where you try to square your cultural and your religious heritage with a modern, multicultural, and secular world that has sweet bubkis to do with that.
Right. Now, the Yid in YidLife is for Yiddish, which is German for Jewish. But of course, this struggle of identity, as you've heard all morning here, is, for better or for worse, a universal one. Something that we all struggle with, these issues of identity, of culture, of generation gaps, of hypocrisy, and essentially of questioning everything.
That's right. When it comes to identity, culture, and religion, nothing is black and white except for our logo, which is not here right now.
No. Also,
But if it were,
it would be
might
black.
be
There it
silver.
is, yeah.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah. Also, black and white, the dress of ultra-Orthodox Jewish men, who I also don't know if they're here. But everyone's welcome, of course. Anyways, where were we in that?
We are discussing the YidLife crisis.
Oh, right. So, look, we started this show a couple of years ago. The episode that we just showed you is from our second season. The first episode of our second season is called Off the Top. And we called it that because it was the first episode of the season and because it takes place on the Jewish holiday of Rosh Hashanah, which is the first day of the year, and also because it deals with this issue of circumcision, an archaic, barbaric, insane ritual, religious, biblical, actually, you know what? For the gentleman in the crowd right here, just by a show of hang on a second. By a show of hands.
No, we don't
hands,
need to
I
do
was
this.
Gonna say.
You've made your point.
All right, never mind.
It's disgusting.
Okay, forget that. Look, we first debuted the first season of this show here in Toronto at the Ashkenaz Festival, a Jewish cultural festival, and we saw that night that Moses Znaimer was actually one of the sponsors of the festival. We never could have imagined that 2 years on we'd still be getting to make these episodes, meet some extraordinary people, and tour the world, and get invited to such prestigious conferences such as Uncle Moishe's IDEACITY. And we truly are grateful and humbled to be here.
That's right. You see, YidLife Crisis began as a passion project. Jamie and I come from a traditional, tight-knit Jewish community in Montreal. We started off in Jewish day school, went to Jewish camps, day and sleepaway, and then eventually ended up at Jewish high school, Bialik High School, where we actually learned the Yiddish language, which is a rarity nowadays. But after high school, we'd go on into entirely different directions in media and entertainment, kind of like Uncle Moish, but a worse version of that. Making film, making television, making music, making theater, and making our parents extremely disappointed.
Miserable.
True story. But at a certain point, Jamie and I decided, you know what, we should do a project together. And we were looking for what's the commonality between us that we could really mine. And at the end of the day, it really came down to our Jewish upbringing in Montreal and the proverbial YidLife crisis. How was everything that we learned going to be squared with this world in Los Angeles, for example, where nothing was really tying into our religious background in specific? But not only were we going to do that, we were also going to do it in Yiddish. And the reasons for that were plentiful: to pay tribute to the language, to our ancestor that spoke Yiddish, and also as a comedic nod to some of the great rabbis that influenced us. I'm talking about Rabbi Seinfeld, Rabbi David, Rabbi Mel Brooks, Rabbi Joan Rivers.
Alav Shalom.
May she rest in peace. Yeah. The point is, they were influenced by a long tradition of Yiddish vaudeville, theater, and comedy, and we wanted to bring that out in the Yiddish language.
Yes. Are you going to? Okay, well, we wanted to take something old and make it new again, make it accessible to the proverbial YouTube generation, but something that you left out here, which I don't. Well, just this idea that the Yiddish is also, at least, okay, fine, maybe just to me, something of a political statement, if you will. Yiddish is mainly spoken in the world today, in the post-Holocaust world, by the ultra-Orthodox community, the extremely religious Jewish community, which uses it, at least in part, to separate themselves, segregate themselves from the rest of modern society. And I believe that Judaism always has and does and must continue to evolve and embrace modernity if it's going to survive. So to me, speaking Yiddish in these secular modern environments was a point to the key theme of our show, which is hypocrisy, religious, spiritual hypocrisy. Let me just give them an example. The Passover Seder. There's a holiday in the spring, Passover, where Jews sit around the table and have this ritual meal called a Seder. And we read from this book called the Haggadah, which is written in Hebrew, which has prayers and tells the story of the Jewish exodus from Egypt. And well, Eli is an excellent Hebrew speed reader, and he, like many people in the community that we grew up in, will use that opportunity, the Seder, to show their parents how well they can speak and read Hebrew. Even though I know for a fact, no disrespect, that he doesn't know what he's saying. He has no idea what he's reading. And most people, it's okay, and most people don't. They could just read the translation, but most people don't. And if they did, I believe that you would find, just one second, that I believe that you would find that it's sexist, racist, misogynist, and generally absurd. But that's not to say that I don't love Passover. I do love that holiday. I love sitting around the table with my family and eating a beautiful meal and singing the songs of our grandparents and drinking wine. And that, to me, is the essence of Judaism at its purest. So,
You done?
sorry about that.
Okay,
Go ahead.
thank you. Thank you. We have 3 minutes left. It's interesting, but I got to say, but the reason why someone might want to read the Haggadah, which means literally the telling of the story of the Israelites coming out of Egypt, the reason you might want to read it word for word is to be able to do something that your very ancestors did thousands of years ago, and the concreteness of the religious ritual that it's anchored in is much more tight than the sort of slippery slope of your feel-good and cannabis-inspired Judaism that I believe I smell. And, you start there, but then first you're taking out words out of the Haggadah, and the next thing you know, you're dating non-Jewish. And I'm sorry, but Uncle Moish needs to know these things.
Uncle Moish doesn't care.
He needs to know.
Okay, hang on.
All right, so you're dating non-Jewish, and then eventually, after 6,000 years, you're ruining the entire Jewish bloodline. But no worries,
Okay.
you have your own schmeckle to worry about. I understand.
Okay, you worry about your schmeckle, I'll worry about mine. First of all, I don't exclusively date non-Jewish women. I'm not anti-dating Jews. It's ridiculous. Although I admit that I date, and it's something you might want to try at some point in your life.
Have you seen the price of J-Date?
Okay. And second of all, this thing that he's talking about, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, this matrilineal bloodline through which Judaism apparently passes is not Bible-based. That is not God-given.
Oh. Okay, again.
That is a rabbinical, that is a man-made Talmudic thing that a group of men, a cabal of sages, if you will, came up with a couple thousand years ago. It was not, that is not a law, that is not a commandment given by God, which, by the way, I'm going to say this even though it's the God pod, that God could not have written the Bible because he doesn't exist.
Okay.
And it doesn't, and that's
Thanks
fine.
for coming to the God
Hang on
path.
a second. And that's fine because it doesn't
Christ.
matter if he or she or it does or doesn't, because I still think Judaism and some of the other great religions and philosophies of the world are very valid because of their rituals, their philosophies, their traditions, and God has nothing to do with that. That's okay.
Are you done, Nietzsche? Okay. I find it very interesting that you're saying all this, and yet you so beautifully sing the seminal Jewish prayer, Shema Yisrael, Hear, O Israel, the Lord is God, the Lord is one, only when you are waiting for a blood test for a venereal disease
Oh my
at
God.
the Jewish General Hospital.
God.
It's a true story.
Hang on.
It's a true story.
Hang on.
Boyas, enough. There is only one question that you have to analyze, which is it appropriate to slice smoked meat by a machine?
The voice of God, ladies and gentlemen.
Close enough.
Here in Toronto, I have seen this sacrilege committed. Yea, even in Kaplansky's.
Whoa. We have Zane on speed dial. Now that his troubles from
You
last
have
week
to
are over.
take him aside.
We'll take care of that, Uncle Moish.
And there is the subsidiary question. Lean or medium fat?
Are we talking about smoked meat? Very different answer.
As long as it's served with a side of dill,
In any which case.
we'll take it. It was an honor speaking here. We thought the ultimate question we had to ask was, why are we here? Literally, what are we doing here? Anyways, it's an honor. Thanks for
Metaphysically and
Midlife crisis.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well done. Yeah.
Oh, this is good. This is good. Let's do one more. This is one more thing. You still mad?